On this episode, we talked to John and Jackie Campbell, two of the most inspirational people in Columbus that I know. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another Hashtag Celebrate Columbus show. My name is Josh Burnett, and as you can see, we've got two special guests with us today. I've been wanting to have them on the Hashtag Celebrate Columbus show for a long time because Celebrate Columbus is all about celebrating special people, places, and businesses, and these are two very special people from Columbus. We're going to be talking about their journey today. They've gone through a lot, and they've stayed together through it. They've been each other's best friends and best supporters. And there's a lot of life lessons that we can learn from this couple. But before we get into the questions, we're going to go ahead and have them introduce themselves to Columbus. So for those of us who don't know who you are and kind of what you've been going through, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
My name's Jackie Campbell. I'm born and raised in Columbus, Indiana. I have 4 kids, and their names are Aiden, who's 13, Bryce is 11, Logan is 7, and Chloe is 5. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I love every minute of it.
So I'm John Campbell. I'm also 39 years old. Been married 16 years. Been in Columbus about 32 of those years. Work at a local heating and air conditioning company, Reliable Comfort. And this is about us. So.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about their family and some of the things that they've been going through. Columbus, you do not want to miss this edition of the Hashtag Celebrate Columbus show. So why don't we go ahead and get started? Let's get into the show. So what was it like when you first found out that you had cancer?
It was a total shock, first of all, because, I was young and there was no family history, anything, so it was a shock. And I think I worried most about telling the kids after, of course, I told John and my parents, but worrying about them, how they would take it is the hardest part. But it's just like getting the air knocked out of you, pretty much, You don't expect it, and but after I found out the very first time, I just remember just a peace that came over me. And, immediately our family started praying, and, I felt peace about it. So,
what was it like for you, John, to find out your wife had cancer?
That's the phone call you'll never forget. It's like, where were you when JFK got shot? It's like, oh my gosh, my wife has cancer. So when you know nothing about cancer, you automatically think my wife's gonna die. Like, what am I gonna do? I got 4 kids, at the time they were all under 8. So you immediately start learning all you can about cancer, and then you go out and you learn the statistics, like 5 years, good luck. So it's very devastating, and there's really no words you can put out there that describe how you feel when that happens. It's just like, what? Mm-hmm. And it's almost like a bad dream you cannot wake up from. It's just never ending.
After you found that out, what were some of the next steps that you and your family took?
Well, thankfully, a friend of mine, she referred us to a really, really good doctor. And, the first thing was making those calls, and they got me in right away. And it was like overwhelming. There were so many appointments, tests and scans and appointments. And but you kind of go through that and to get a game plan. Mm-hmm. And once you get that set up, it helps out a lot because you kind of know, this is what I'm going to do. This is the next step. And you kind of feel more, I guess, confident in it. So
the hardest part is the weight, because you find out you have cancer, you want it out of your body. You want
Right.
treatment on day one. But you have to know how far the cancer spread before you start the treatment.
what kind?
What kind of cancer it is, because there's like 3-4 different types of breast cancer. Some's more aggressive, some's not as aggressive. So you got to do all these tests before you can even start the treatment, to where it's like, that's the hardest part, is what are these tests going to come back at? Or
Yeah.
what stage are you? What's your outcome going to be? And the weight's the hardest.
And so once you found out and you got a game plan, did you immediately start treatment after that?
Yeah, I did. On the first round, we went through the chemo, and then we had the surgery, the bilateral mastectomy, and then we had radiation and several different reconstruction surgeries. But then the second time, this past year, it went in straight into just, the doctor chemo right away. So
How have you all as a couple been able to stay so positive through so much pain?
number one, my faith in God has got me through this whole thing. And just our family sticking together, the kids, seeing their faith grow in this has been amazing. And just being together, I think, has been the most.
Yeah, her faith, it's what powers us as a family. Without it, I'd be lost. She'd be lost. And friends and family that's came forward, new people that we met, just saying, hey, we care about you. You're an inspiration to us. You're a fighter. It just means so much to us, and I think that's a positive outlook, is the reaction that other people get from her faith.
There's obviously been a lot of low moments throughout this process. I mean, this is a pretty serious conversation that we're having now, but, for those of us who are friends with you on Facebook, you take us through your journey. And, some of those days are really good, celebrating those, but other days are rough.
Yeah.
I mean, what have been some of the rough moments that you've had to get through?
I think when I came home, I was in the hospital last December, is when they found out that I had returned the cancer. And there was one day that I remember I was so sick I could barely make it to the bathroom. I couldn't get off the couch. And it was my lowest point ever. And I remember went in to get a bath and sitting there thinking I can't even get enough strength to get out of the tub. And I think that was the moment I just, I prayed to God, just help me. It wasn't a fancy prayer, but I called out to Him, because it was the one point where I didn't know what was going to happen, and through all of this, because I was so sick.
And what's it been like for you, John? On that day, Jackie was pretty down, but I know we've talked, just as friends, and seeing how she goes through her pain has helped you, remain positive. But in those moments where she's down, how are you able to lift her up?
Well, her being sick, there's a part of me, I cannot do anything, however hard I try. Just nothing that I can do. Emotionally, I can be there, and that's what I can do. When the cancer returned, it's stage 4, you look at it medically, there's no cure. But, our faith, there's miracles, So just be there emotionally. Emotionally is what I can do.
He helps out with the kids and around the house, and
Yeah.
does a
And,
lot.
there's something like, let's go back to your wedding day. And something that my wife and I have been thinking a lot, because she's gone through a lot of different physical things. You say those words, till death do us part.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and you don't think that it's going to happen, soon. You think it's going to be when you're 70 or 80 or 90. How have your vows become so much more real throughout this process?
I was thinking about that a couple of days ago. It's like when you say those vows, you don't know what they mean when you're 23, 24. It's like, okay, I'm getting married.
Right.
But, when this hits you, it's like, how do they know? I mean, who wrote these vows?
Yeah.
Because it's true. I mean,
And sickness and health. It's
Right.
definitely-
so it's just...
Because when there's sickness, it turns your world upside down.
Right.
And, you lose your normal.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the hardest part is, you have this normal schedule you go through day by day, and you take it for advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden your life is turned upside down, and you have to find a new normal throughout it.
Because you're pretty much kids until this hits you. I mean, you're
Right.
35-year-old kids.
Right.
Yeah.
And then this happens, it's like, oh my.
Have your priorities changed throughout this process? Like, what you consider important now? Like, do you let, some of those things in life that maybe you thought were really serious, and then you're like, no, it's really not that big of a deal
Oh, yeah.
compared
Yeah.
to this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything that comes to mind, like that really just doesn't matter anymore?
Yeah. With my kids, I think,
We take our kids more seriously. Not that we did before,
Yeah.
but keep life normal with them. As far as distraction outside of the house, it's like, really? It's
Yeah.
not important. The election, you can go back to that. That was just a crazy election. It's like, come on.
Yeah. Our
Nope.
core family, it just focusing in on that, and I think being together a lot. And
One of the things I've noticed specifically, I've been watching how your children have responded throughout this, and it seems like they're very aware of what's going on, but they're also, you haven't seen the joy leave their face. And, how do you encourage them to stay positive through this?
through prayer, they pray, and their faith in God. They really amaze me of how they know what's going on, and we do tell them. We tell them everything, and but they know, and they'll ask me how I'm doing and make sure I'm okay, and help out, and just seeing them just grow through it, I think, and they do stay happy.
Yeah, it's amazing when you hear them talk to people about it, what their thought process is, because that's not something you teach the kids. It's something they learn. And it's like, you really thought that? It's like, wow, my son's really thinking this way. And it's really encouraging. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
you can handle this. You're stronger than me.
They're very strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who's going through a life-threatening sickness, or a person that's a caretaker for someone in that situation?
I would say you can just always be there for them, no matter how they may be acting or feeling. Sometimes the medicines that they give you can make you feel a little wacky, but always be there for them. I know some of the things that, as our family, that people reached out to us was bringing in meals. Our church family at Waynesburg, they're awesome at that. They were so supportive. And, some people just stopped by and brought cleaning products or, paper towels and things for the house, because they know that we can't really get out and do it and get groceries or, those things really made the difference. And just to show up and to have like a meal for him, or just to do something random, that I think is like the biggest surprise, because it's so hard to come up, like, I don't, not knowing how to help, because at the point we're just trying to, to get through. But to show up and to help out and just random little things.
Right.
It doesn't have to be anything big, just bringing a pie over, or, something like that. It really helps out.
What about you, John? I mean, what advice would you maybe give to someone who's a caretaker? We were talking off camera, both of you all. Throughout life, we're either going to be cared for or we're going to be taking care of someone else, and sometimes it's just as hard in a different way to be a caretaker. What advice would you maybe give to someone in that situation?
As far as a husband taking care of like a wife, mentally you got to take it day by day. Don't think about the future, because you have no idea. And if you do that, you just lead yourself down a downhill path for depression. Very long nights of not sleeping. As far as taking care of your wife, just be there. Don't ever talk about your aches. Always focus on her. As far as people coming and helping, just do it. Don't ever ask, what can I do for you? Because it's like, you don't
even know what to ask for, right?
Yes, yeah. It's like, just do it and surprise me. Because I'm not going to come out and ask you to do something for me. Yeah. And I'm sure that's happened to you. So, just do something, or call. Don't call and tell me how you're feeling. Call and say, hey, I've been thinking about you. Yeah. Just little stuff like that's important. Never. It's not about me, it's about her. It's about whoever you're taking care of. Don't complain about yourself when you're trying to comfort her, because in her mind, it's like, okay.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Broken nail?
Right. Who have been some of the most encouraging people in your lives throughout your treatment journey, and how have they helped?
Number one is my parents. They are like a rock. They've went through every single step of it, from, when I was in the hospital last year at this time, they had the kids. They had to do everything with the kids, and, through hospital stays and treatment days and everything, they're always there. And, even now, because I can't drive after radiation, my mom's driving me all around, and my dad picks up the kids, and so they do everything, and they are definitely a rock, spiritually, and just for my family, my kids, for John, helps them out, and they're like the main. And then, throughout treatments and everything, you meet other people who's going through it, and I have several friends who, they're the ones I can text and be like, hey, I'm having this today, and they can relate. They can really, understand. So having them is a good thing too.
What about you, John?
I have to agree. Her parents have just been there nonstop. Whatever we needed, rides or appointments, if we were short on money, just anything, they were there. Emotionally, every part of it, they've been there from day one. My work, not just one person, everybody there. When I miss a day, I still get paid for it. They're letting me off whenever I need to. I don't have to worry about how am I going to pay a bill if I take off. Church family, everybody there is just emotionally there for you if you need to be. So, just this, and then She has 15,000 followers on a Facebook page.
That's amazing.
And, you know, every one of those people
They pray for
are
me
very
every day.
uplifting. Even though you don't respond to them or follow them, just knowing that there's 15,000 people rooting for her.
And if anyone would like to be a part of your journey, what's the Facebook page where they can find that?
It's called Healing Prayers for Jackie Lehman Campbell.
Awesome. That would be great if you guys would follow Jackie
Yes.
and support her in that way. Very cool.
This is such a special time of year.
Hot cocoa.
You know, timing is everything, isn't it? And when we understand that God brought Jesus into the world at just the right time.
If you are a kid, you all know that tonight is the longest night of the year.
Fruitcake? Oh, I love fruitcake. Hey, you want to trade? I mean, I think I got something here in my leg. It's a piggy bank.
I want to thank you guys so much for being on the hashtag Celebrate Columbus show. I am one of those 15,000 that follows along and just prays for you guys who supports you in this journey. And I was hoping that this would be our way of just helping Columbus really understand how special you two are.
Thank you.
My wife and I, as you know, she's gone through some different things with her health journey, and one of the people that she looks to every day for encouragement is you. And it's really cool too that, you know, our kids actually go to the same preschool.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
it's
when, you know, when we drop off the kids, we see you, and, you know, it's hard for us to get out in the morning, and then we see you and we say, you know what, we can do this because Jackie's doing it, because John's doing it. And so Columbus, I think it's really important that we celebrate just regular people who go through things in their life and they make it through, and they do it together, because it's not easy. But that's why we celebrate Columbus, and John and Jackie Campbell are the reason that we celebrate Columbus today. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this special edition of the hashtag Celebrate Columbus show. You guys keep asking questions, and we'll keep celebrating Columbus together.